Children, this is part 3 of chapter number 13, exercise 13.2. Okay, so we have already started this exercise in the previous video. This is the question number 4th from exercise 13.2. So let's start. See children, this 13.2 exercise is simply based on inverse proportion. We know this, but still we are going to check in each and every question what kind of proportion it is. As we already know, they all are based on inverse proportion because 13.2 based on inverse proportion concept. Okay, now question number 4. If a box of sweets is divided among 24 children, they will get 5 sweets each. How many would each get if the number of students is reduced by 4? So, total number of sweets we are having 24. We are going to distribute among, if a box of sweet is divided among 24 children. So, total number of children are 24. Each children will get 5 sweets. Now we are going to reduce the children, so we have to find how many sweets they will get. For that, let's make a table. One, we are having children, then we are having sweets they are getting. So if 24 students we are having, each one is getting 5 sweets. Okay, now what the question is saying, children are reduced by 4, so total students are 24. 24 minus 4 is 20. Now children we are having 20. We need to find number of sweets each children will get. Okay, so this is a kind of table we are having. Okay, so let's represent one column with x and other column with y. So children is x here and sweets are y here. So this column represent x1, this column represent x2, y1, y2. Okay, so if childrens are decreasing, if our childrens are decreasing, definitely each student get more sweets. So this is a question of inverse proportion. We have already checked this. This is a question of inverse proportion. So which formula we are going to use? X multiplied by y equal to k. K is constant here. Okay, so what equation will form? X1 into y1, x1 equal into y1 equal to x2 into y2, because when we multiply x1 into y1 we will get constant, and we multiply x2 y2 we will get constant, so that is why they are equal to each other. Okay, now put the values with the help of this table. X1 is 24, y1 is 5, x2 is 20, and y2 we need to find. Okay, so let's send this 20 below as denominator. Here you will get y2. 5 ones are 5 4s are 4 ones are 4 6 are. So total number of sweets each student is getting 6. 6 students, 6 sweets each student going to be have when we are having total number of children 20. Okay, I hope this question is clear to you. Again I am repeating, initially in this starting we are having 24 students, so 5 students each, 5 sweets each student getting. Now 4 students we have reduced, so now instead of 24 we are having 20 children. Okay, so we need to find total number of sweets get by each children. So 6 sweets going to be have each student. Okay, now let's move to the next question. Now next question, a farmer has enough food to feed 20 animals in his cattle for 6 days. How long would the food last if there were 10 more animals in his cattle. Okay, so one farmer is there, he can feed 20 animals for 6 days. That much amount of food he is having. So instead of 20 animals, if that farmer is having 30 animals, how long his food lasts? Okay, we need to find that. So let's make table. Number of animals. So how many days their food lasts? So next column is days. So total number of animals are 20. Days, 6 days left over. Now instead of 20, number of animals we are having is 30, because 20 were previously that person is having. Now 10 we are adding more. Okay, so how long that food lasts, that we need to find. So number of animals represented by X, number of days represented by Y. So this would be your X1, X2, Y1, Y2. See children, initially if you represent your table in a format of X1 and Y1, that make your question more easy to solve. See, now your animals is increasing, so your food is days will decrease. So this is a question of inverse proportion. Okay, this is a question of inverse proportion. So which formula we are going to use? X into Y equal to K. This formula we are going to use. So X1 multiplied by Y1 equal to X2 multiplied by Y2. X1 is 20, Y1 is 6, X2 is 30, and Y2 we need to find. Okay, so 20 into 6, this 30 go in the denominator of this expression Y2. This 0 cancel out each other. 6 2s are 3 1s are 2 to the 4. 4 days. That particular food lasts when your animals are more in the cattle. Okay, now let's move to the next question. See, next sixth question from exercise 13.2. A contractor estimates that 3% could rewire Jasminder's house in 4 days. If he uses 4% instead of 3, how long should they take to complete the job? So one contractor is there, he is going to use 3% for rewire the Jasminder house. Okay, so these 3% going to complete in 4 days work. So instead of 3, if contractor use one more person, 4%, how many days they require to complete their job? So let's make the table. First is number of persons and in how many days they are going to complete. So number of person initially 3, in 4 days they are going to complete their work. So now persons will be 4, so we need to find in how many days they are going to complete their work. So now number of person is increasing, so days will decrease, because if more people are there, so work is going to be complete early. So this number of person is going to represent by X, day is going to represent by Y. So this particular column I am making table. This is X1, this is X2, Y1, Y2. So this is the question of inverse proportion. So which formula we are going to use? X dot Y equal to K. Okay, so it means X1 multiplied by Y1, X2 multiplied by Y2. X1 is 3, Y1 is 4, 4 into Y2. So let's solve this equation. 3 into 4, this 4 goes in the denominator, you will get 4 cancel out each other, so you will get 3 days. In 3 days 4 person going to complete their work. Okay, this will be your answer. I hope you are getting the question. Let's move to the next question. Now next question is, a batch of bottles were packed in 25 boxes with 12 bottles in each box. If the same batch is packed using 20 bottles in each box, how many boxes would be filled? See children, now 25 boxes are using to packed few bottles. So in one box, like we are having 25 boxes, so on, in one box 12 bottles are there. Okay, so question is saying that instead of 12, if we pack 20 bottles, how many boxes we need to make? Okay, so that we need to find out. So let's make the table. Number of boxes and bottles in each box. Okay, so number of boxes are 25. So initially we are packing 12 bottles. So question wants to pack 20 bottles. So how many boxes we require? That we need to find. So let X number of boxes is going to represent and Y by bottles in each box. So this will be your X1, X2, Y1, Y2. So if bottles are increasing, so boxes will decrease, because if many bottles we are going to pack in each box, so number of boxes going to be reduced. So this is a question of inverse proportion. So which formula we are going to use? X dot Y into K. This formula we are going to use. So let's make the equation X1 into Y1, X2 into Y2. Let's put the value with the, if you are making this table children, you have to just put the value. X1 value is 25 and Y1 value is 12, X2 we need to find, and Y2 is 20. Just solve this equation, 25 into 12 upon 20 X2. So you will get 15. After solving this equation you will get 15 boxes we need to make when we are packing 20 bottles in each box. Okay, let's move to the next question. Now next question is question number 8. A factory requires 42 machines to produce a given number of articles in 63 days. How many machines would be required to produce the same number of articles in 54 days? So in a factory, total number of machines we are having 42. So with the help of 42 machines, they are going to complete their work in 63 days. So the same factory wants to complete the work in 54 days. So number of machines we need to add more in the same work. We need to check that. Okay, so if days are decreasing, we need to put more machines. So concept of inverse proportion. Okay, concept of inverse proportion. X letting Y is days, so this will be your X1, X2, Y1, Y2. So X dot Y equal to K. This concept we are going to use. Let's solve this. X1 into Y1, X2 into Y2. 42 into 63, then 60. This X2 we need to find out. Solve this equation. 42 into 63 upon 54, you will get X2. It means number of machine you will get. Solve this equation, you will get answer 49 machines. Solve this equation by your own, you will get 49 machine, your answer. So this will be your answer. So let's move to the next question now. Now next question is, a car takes 2 hours to reach a destination by traveling at the speed of 60 km per hour. How long will it take when the car travels at the speed of 80 km? Okay, so when a car is moving, children, see, speed of car is initially 60 km per hour. So when this car is moving at the speed of 60 km/h, how much time that car is taking to reach a destination? 2 hours. So now we are increasing our speed 80 kilometer. So we need to find out the time. Okay, so speed is increasing. Obviously when speed is increasing, your time will be less used. Okay, so this is your x and this is your y. Similar question we are having. Just make the table and sort out. So this is the concept of inverse proportion, and x dot y equal to k. This formula we are going to use. Okay, so x1 into y1, x2 into y2, 60 into 2 and 80 into y2. Solve this question. 2 ones are 4s are 4 2s are 3s are. So you are going to have 3 by 2 equal to y2. This answer we are getting. So let's change into the mixed fraction. Let's change it. 2 1s are. So it is equal to 1.5 hours. 1 hour 30 minutes that car is going to take when the speed is 80 km per hour. I hope you are getting each and every question. Now next, let's move to the next question. Now let's read this question. We are having two parts. One part I am going to solve, another part I will give you as homework. 2 persons could fit new windows in house in 3 days. So if 2 persons are going to fit windows in a house, they are taking 3 days. Okay, so let's make table. Number of persons. First part I am solving. How many days they are taking? If 2 persons are there, they are taking 3 days. Okay, now let's solve the first part. One of the person fell ill before the work started. How long would the job take? Now among 2 persons, 1 person fell ill. Okay, so only 1 person left. How many time do they require to complete the same work, to fit the windows? Okay, let's represent x, days are y. So x1, x2, y1, y2. So now persons are decreasing, number of days going to be increased. So x1 into y1, x2 into y2, 2 into 3, 1 into y2. It means after solving this, 6 days they are going to be take to complete this job, when only 1 person is there to complete the job. Now what first part I have completed. Second part I am giving you homework. How many person would be needed to fit the windows in 1 day? Now only 1 day you have and you need to find the persons. So keep 1 here and find this particular portion. Okay, this I am giving you homework. Try this question at your home. Okay, now let's move to the next question. Okay, the last question of this chapter. A school has 8 periods in a day, each of 45 duration. How long would each period be if the school has 9 periods in a day, assuming that number of school hours to be the same? Now we are not going to change number of hours in school. We are saying that we have to convert only 8 days into 9 periods. Okay, initially we are having 8 periods, but we want 9 periods in a day. Okay, so periods and duration. So if 8 periods are there, 45 minutes each, we need 9 periods. So how much time do we require? Okay, so if periods are increasing, time duration will be decreased. So this is a question of inverse proportion. Just make x1, x2, y1, y2. Make the equation x1 into y1, x2 into y2. Put the value, you will get the answer. Find this value according to yourself. I am giving you this as your homework. With this, your questions are finished now. Your chapter has been finished. I hope you are able to get this chapter Thank you so much for attending this class. In the next video we are going to start new chapter. Sai Ram.